Hey, Doc, how are you doing? Nice to see you. You can hear me, right? I want to make sure everything's working before I start digging in. You can hear me, right? I want to make sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a few minutes, but um, so the first thing is just an update on the health. So I did go back to urgent care today. Um, I've not had much sleep this past week because the coughing either kept me up for a couple of the nights or kept waking me up. So I have not had a lot of sleep. Intense coughing. And then yesterday morning and this morning, I woke up and I was coughing blood. Not a real big concern. It wasn't like bright red blood. It was dark. It was mixed in with uh, other coughing stuff. And so it's not a huge concern. I just figured that my throat was getting too raw. So, took care of some meetings and some work stuff and then went to urgent care and they took a look and they said, the virus, it was a fast moving virus, right? We knew that Friday or Saturday when I came back and said, this is what was going on. It was a fast moving virus and it did get down into the bronchial tubes. And so that's why I'm still coughing and coughing deep. And that's why I had burning coughs the other day. And so they gave me a shot for steroids. And hopefully I'll start seeing some improvement in the next 3 to 4 days. But that's the update on the health. So yeah, that's where that is at. How's everyone doing? Everyone's doing great, having a good day. Everything's going fine and dandy. So, yeah, I've got a big announcement coming. I've got a big announcement. So, I want this to be a conversation. Understand that the conversation is not going to change my mind about what's happening. It might change how long this lasts. You may or may not have slept in one of your classes. Katie, oh no. Oh no. Um, it may change my mind about how things go down the road. Oh, I'm tired. I fell asleep in the exam room, by the way. I fell asleep in the waiting room. I almost fell asleep in line at the Jack in the Box. I'm tired. I wanted to fall asleep in my meetings today, but that would have been really bad because I was the one actually leading it. Even though my manager was trying to lead it so I wouldn't have to talk as much. So, okay, so it happens falling asleep. I used to fall asleep in my sociology class. I would fall asleep every class, first 10 minutes, and then I would be awake and good. So, yeah, that used to be a thing for me. All right. I'm going to, just so that we're not staring at the stream is starting screen, I'm actually going to move us into a different screen. I've got Valorant up because, I mean, that is, after all, that that's what has been mostly on this stream. Even though I hate the game. I love it, but I hate it. And I've been wanting to get rid of it for I don't know how long. And I'll be 100% honest about this. The only reason that I still have this game, two reasons. I've spent so much money on the damn game, it's hard for me to walk away from it. And two, because honestly, I enjoyed playing that with Nikki. I would have uninstalled this game long before otherwise. I do like playing with a lot of other people, with Mad Dog and with Katie and with Kittle and Rice, and I do like it, but yeah, I know. So, but since that's what has been the predominantly number one game on this stream, I'm going to put that up there. All right, so I think I'm just going to start digging in right now. Here's the deal, guys. I'm taking advantage of the fact that I've got some health issues at the moment. It's all temporary stuff, right? The laryngitis, the viral infection, etc. It's all temporary stuff, but I'm taking advantage, hence the timing is right now. I'm going to be putting the stream on hiatus. For how long, I don't know. Over the past, I've been considering this move, by the way, and I've been talking with a few people about this since just after Thanksgiving. And like I said, I want this to be a conversation. If you guys have questions, I will gladly answer your questions. I think almost all of the questions I'll be able to answer directly or honestly. There are a few things that I may choose to not answer or may choose to answer privately. Okay. So let me start out with that. That is what is happening. There are a lot of reasons for it. And there are a lot of events that have happened that just either reiterate or highlight the fact that this is something I need to do. I have some shit that I got to work on for myself. I'm very wildly out of balance. One thing that some of you were a witness to is we all know that my boy, when I put him down for bed, he wakes up or he gets out of bed and he does what he calls sneaks out. And I even moved his room so I can see his door better and can catch him from sneaking out. But a couple of weeks ago, I don't even think it was was it last week maybe? It was last week. The door opens and I mute myself and I tell him, go lay down. Because I was so obsessed with not going BRB on stream, I just told him, go lay down. I didn't even pick up on the fact that he paused. Usually if he's caught, he shuts the door, goes, lays down right away. I didn't even pick on the fact that he did something different. He stood there. He started to say something, and then he stopped. And he stood there, and he waited and waited and waited. And then finally he closed the door, and that was the end of it. And 45 minutes later, when I decide I'm going to go get some water, I hear a loud noise, what I thought was the radio in his room, which was really weird because he doesn't have a radio. So I thought maybe he somehow got his phone and was watching the phone and it was too loud. And I went in there pissed. The noise was him crying, full out crying. He had been crying the entire time. Because his ear hurt. And now he couldn't tell daddy. And that night rocked me. It rocked me like I haven't been rocked in a long time. But it showed me my priorities are out of whack. That I was putting the stream above him, paying attention to him, and I started thinking about him more. By the way, this is one reason. So, yeah, this is going to be hard for me, guys. So there'll be some pauses. Because, by the way, I love streaming. I love having a microphone in front of my face. I like entertaining. I like telling stories. I've gotten away from telling as many stories. But more on that in a bit. So anyway, my priorities are out of whack, and I started thinking about it. ever since, so my ex and I, we've been separated for 2 years. We've been living in the same house during that time, for most of that time, as roommates, just knowing that the end was there, just kind of waiting. And then finally we were like, okay, it's time. And then she moved out. Once she moved out, I didn't realize it, but I was rushing his bedtime routine so I could turn on stream. My priorities with my son are out of whack. And I can't have that happening. So that's reason number one for my decision. And so those of you that are just coming in, I'm putting the stream on hiatus. This is a conversation. You guys are welcome to talk. You guys are welcome to ask questions. You guys are welcome to say what you got to say. Right? This is not a one-way discussion. But that night rocked me so badly. And then I noticed the next night that I forgot to give him his medicine because I was rushing him so badly to get through the routine so that I could turn on stream on time, that I didn't give him his nighttime medicine. None of his medicines. And that was a wake-up call for me. The next morning when I saw that was a wake-up call. All right. So that's one of the reasons. My priorities surrounding my son are completely out of whack. All right. The next one. I love streaming. I love it, man. I love meeting people. I love getting to know people, even though I'm extremely introverted. Broadcasting on radio was perfect for me because then I could be doing things for and with and around people without actually expending a lot of that energy. So I could, with that introvert in me. I love having a microphone in front of me. I love introducing new things. When I switched to this new look that you guys are looking at, I was so excited. But honestly, a couple of things have just been weighing on me. And it just became a chore ever since around Thanksgiving. Around there, my birthday hit. One of many awful birthdays. It was an awful day. Why it was awful, I don't need to get into, but it was an awful day. And I think I wanted this. I don't remember if I streamed on that day or not, but it just started feeling like a chore. Everything was fine until I would hit live. And then once I hit live, coming up with a stream title, who's going to be there, what are we doing? It just became a chore. And because it was a chore, I'm now spending more energy on it, more energy than I'm getting reward for. And Katie's been here since damn near the beginning. And I'll ask you honestly, Katie, can you tell a difference from before the hospital, let's say, so before last year to October, November, December now? And I'll tell you, and I know what some of you are thinking because that lines up with something else. No, Monster, I'm not. So yeah, welcome by the way. So just making the announcement. I'm putting the stream on hiatus, opening up a conversation to talk about it, but I'm giving the reasons for this. I've been thinking about this for a while, and so I'm just kind of giving it. There's been major change, good and bad, and I know that some of you are kind of lining it up with something else, and that's not even the case. I'll tell you why it became a chore. Because before I went in the hospital last year, so last January, I went in the hospital with COVID. The first couple of nights, the nurses didn't even know if I was going to be one of the numbers that walks out in a bag or rolls out in a bag or one of the numbers that walks out on my own. They didn't know. And I was in the hospital for a week, so it was actually a really fast recovery given. And we had some drama that had happened just just before that, and that gave a hit to the Discord and to the community. And then I'm in the hospital. I'm sick for 2 weeks before the hospital. I'm in the hospital for a week. I'm sick and not streaming or gaming for another 3 weeks after that. That destroyed all the progress that I had made in the stream, and it was really discouraging. Just started getting back into it, started building up, and then I had to go on the road for all these work trips, and that destroyed what little momentum I had going. And then, you know, start building it up again, and then just more and more shit. I will, Katie. I appreciate it. Thank you. So just more and more shit. 2022 was a shit year, guys. It was a shit year for me. It was a shit year for streaming. I'll say that there were some highlights. It wasn't 100% shit. You know, the people that have been here from the beginning, the people that have been here throughout, I thank you for that. I met one of the most amazing people in my life. And I will say, without that person, I may not. Let me tell you how on the brink I've been. As of my birthday, so somewhere in November, December, we'll say, I'm leaving it vague on purpose. I've been so on the brink because this has been an awful, awful year. That if it were not for my son and if it were not for that person, I would have abandoned everything in real life, quit my job, walked away, jumped in my car, and just drove. And wherever I ended up, that's where I would build a new life. And nobody would have seen me. Nobody would have known it. I would have just disappeared. I was so on the brink that if it were not for my son, and if it were not for the person that I met, I would have done it. And so this wouldn't even be happening. I would have just been gone, poof, by Thanksgiving. So 2022 was a hard year, and it destroyed everything that I tried to build. Every time I made progress on the stream, it destroyed it, which is going to happen. And streaming's a grind, man. Don't get me wrong. I know that. But every time I start making progress, I get kicked down again. And it happened 3 times in 2022, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And it became a chore. So that's reason number 2. That's reason number 2. Yeah, you know, Monster, and the thing is, so there's all this stuff that's going on, and I gotta just stop and get my priorities back in order, and I need to get my energies back in order, and and if streaming is draining me instead of filling me, I need to stop. So and so, by the way, Monster, since you're here too, by the way, you know, what I want to do in lieu of streaming is I want to go to small streamers, and I've got a pretty extensive career in I have a really extensive career in consulting. I have a minor in speech comm. I've done political consulting, you know, like communication consulting. I've done training department revamping. I've radio broadcasting. So I've got extensive experience in doing this. I want to go to small streamers and do VOD reviews and try to find things to help them get to their goals better. Is it something that we're broadcasting? How are we doing audio wise, sound wise, balance wise, content wise, schedule wise, and evaluate that. And I want to do that for small streamers. So Monster, if that sounds like something you might be interested, hit me up and we can talk about that. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what I'm going to do in the meantime, just to keep my fingers somewhere in the streaming world. And I'm not going to go around and advertise myself. So if you and I work together and you really like it, please, you know, refer. That's how I'm going to do that. So So yeah, and again, like I said, I have a very extensive experience, set of experiences in public speaking and broadcasting and content. So not quite digital content, but content all around. So yeah. So anyway, that's reason number 2, guys. Reason number 3, and this one's going to be really, really hard. And this is going to be hard for some of you to hear. Everyone around me knows that I was dating a very fantastic woman. And there was a lot of misperception around this woman. And that's not what I'm talking about right now. I don't, that's for another conversation with people at another time if they want. But through the run of that relationship, my eyes were open to a few things. My community is very supportive of me. Unfortunately, some people get left out of that support. And that bothered me and that hurt me. And I built that. And the other thing that I have to take responsibility for, that I understand I did, it's me, is I created a very unfriendly environment towards her in this community. I cannot undo that. But that opened my eyes to something. I started streaming because I wanted to help people. I've been trying to set up an interview series where I could get ADHD doctors and bipolar doctors and autism doctors or providers and talk about these things. Where I could bring in other things to help people deal with their days, with their lives. I wanted to create a safe environment for female gamers because, man, let's be real, female gamers have it really hard. And then I fucked that up. I pretty much in one weekend screwed that up. And Monster said that there's an ad to hold on. I can do that. I can do that. So for those of you that don't have an ad, like I said, this is a conversation. We're not changing my mind. This is happening today. But we can have a conversation, things that maybe will help, maybe give some insight, maybe change if I come back, when I come back. Right now, all I know is that I'm turning it off right now and I don't know when I'll be back. Excuse me. Oh my God. All right. Let me know when, Monster, let me know when it's done. You're back. All right. So I started this stream with the intent of trying to help people, give people safe spaces. And by the way, those of you that have been in my community for a long time know there have been some people that really needed extra support. And it was amazing. It was amazing how other people supported them. But I created a bad atmosphere. So someone just sent me about it. No, I understand what you're saying, but it was me. And let me clarify it this way, because we break up and I don't stream Thursday night, I don't yell at her. Which, by the way, is another reason I'm so completely out of my character now, when out of my personal space when I'm streaming, that I'm a different person now when I stream, and it's a problem for me. And I saw that when I went back and listened to that VOD. I did that. That wasn't her. I did that. And was I hurt? Yeah. And are there other reasons that probably contributed? Yeah, but I did that. And that was 100% out of my character. And then the next night, man, she comes in, she wants to clear something up. And what did I do? I did not take it off of the stream. I had my reasons, but I did not take it off the stream. And I got so tunneled on talking with her that I didn't see it until I went back and looked what the chat was doing. I fostered that environment, and I cannot undo it. And that destroys me. That I fostered an environment that hurt somebody. And whatever people had problems with her, or her with somebody else, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what happened on stream and the ramifications after that. Now, she and I had another conversation. She pointed out some other things too that I didn't even realize. And it pointed something out to me. So the third reason is I've created the environment I didn't want. And I can't undo it. I can't go back and say, okay, guys, don't do this. Don't talk like that. Don't be like that. I can't undo that. I can't go back and rewind time and say, hey, just act like I never yelled at you. Hey, just act like none of that stuff happened Friday night. I can't do that. So the third reason is I have created this stream into an environment that I don't like. I never wanted. I made that environment. Why? Because of my fourth reason for this, which is I now am lately I've been a different person when I turn on the stream. It used to be that when I got in front of a microphone, it just brought out more of me. And 2022 has been so awful that I buried myself inside of a shell, personality-wise. That when I finally started feeling like freer, oh, look, things are going good now. I can be myself. I became someone different. And I can't have that. I just cannot have that. So maybe a hiatus will help with that. I don't know. But what I do know is that it's piling on top of stuff already. And every one of these things, I've been considering some of these things, like I said, for almost 2 months now. Realizing these things along the way. So the last one that I think I want to talk about here has to do with the Discord server. And this one sounds kind of weird, and you're probably going to think, oh, what an ungrateful person. But I realized something throughout the course of 2022. In the beginning of 2022, when I went in the hospital, the server went on without me, and that made me so happy. When I look back at the activity, or every now and then, and I actually had the energy to open up the phone and look and see people were in there, people were active. Before that, some of you may know Panda, and I'm bringing up her name because she and I have recently got back in touch, and we're starting to repair that friendship. When Panda and people left, right before that, there was a lot of activity. I could have disappeared from the face of the earth and the server would have kept going. I wanted that. When I went in the hospital, it happened still. But every other absence after that, if I wasn't there, quickly the activity died away. I had a stretch of 4 weeks, I think it was 4 weeks on the road for work. And by the end of that 4 weeks, I noticed that there was almost nothing happening unless I showed up and pinged people. And it showed me something. And by the way, this is all before Nikki. It's just that when Nikki came along, it highlighted it again. I thought it was getting better, but then I realized it wasn't. And that is that the server needed me, and I didn't want that. I wanted a community where people could thrive without me. I was an afterthought. And Rose, I see you right there. You know I don't want to be the center. I don't want to be the number one. I don't. And that's what the server became. If I disappeared, if I wasn't there, the activity would start to die. And the thing that actually highlighted it that for me was when people started coming to me and they were making an issue of me hiding. I'm an introvert, for fuck's sake. I love all of you guys, but I sometimes just need to hide. I need that just one person, right? And so when I want to hide, I should be able to hide. And you guys should be able to do it. I can jump in and join you. I want to join you, not lead you. I want you guys to be a community. And then I can just disappear if I have to. But then we had on top of that, the people were sending me messages upset that I was hiding. And I get it. You guys like hanging out with me and I like hanging out with you. But being actually upset that I was hiding. So what do we have? 4? Or was that 4 or 5 reasons there? So let's just say those are the 4 or 5 that I'm comfortable talking about publicly right now. 4, I think we'll call it 4. Those are the 4 that I'm comfortable talking about right now to explain why this is happening. And just understand there are some other ones. This is not a decision that was made lightly. I've been weighing this and talking about this with my innermost circles for a while. I love you guys, and you guys will see me around, but those first couple of reasons hopefully explain why I'm going to be disappearing for a bit. I'm going to be a little bit more scarce because I got to get my shit together over here in real life. I need to get my priorities and my energies back in order. I got to get balance back. And I need to do that because if I end up in another relationship, all this stuff has to be set and balanced and good so that that relationship can be supported well. And some of you know, I mean, deep down, I know where I want to go relationship-wise. I know exactly where I want to go. And if that happens, I will be the happiest man in the world. But even that can't happen until I get my shit straight here. Part of the reason it didn't work is because my shit's not straight. And so that's my big announcement, guys. I'm putting the stream on hiatus. I'm gonna be somewhat hiding here and there a little bit more. Thank you, Monster. Yeah, you'll probably see me more in your stream now, but absolutely. I don't know if we're friends in Discord, so I'll have to get that set up. Um, but that's that. And with all of that said, there's one more thing that I need to absolutely say. This is on a kind of different topic. Actually, it's on a different topic. I said a lot of not good, helpful, supportive, wonderful things about Nikki over the past week. And I need to say, almost all of it was out of line, which we'll call this reason number 5. I should not have been bringing that shit up. And it's really hard because all of my life, when there's a microphone in front of me, is my chance to share me. And I've never had to deal with separating my parts of an us so I can share me. I've never had to do that. And she and I were so public that it made it even harder for me. And so as I was going through the hurt and all the other things that I felt, most of which were unjustified. And by the way, that's me coming up with that conclusion that they were unjustified. That's not her. That's me. But I said and did a lot of things over the first 4 days that were way out of line. And I don't get the chance to, I can't take them back. Turns out she was watching, which makes it even worse. Actually, I don't know what's worse, that she was watching or that I thought I could do those things when she wasn't watching. I don't know what's worse. But again, turning on the stream lately is making me turn into a different person. And so this is my moment to try to at least say it in as public a venue as I did those things, that I was 100% wrong for doing those things. I was very wrong in a lot of the things that I said. So I want to set the record straight about her. And as I'm looking, I don't think she's in the stream now. So yeah. I want to set the record straight about her, though. Hey, Monster, I got it. Just so you know, I did get it. I got it right now, and I'm going to reply to that right now. So let me set the record straight right now. She is one of the most incredible women I've ever met. She was one of the most positive influences in my life ever. And I've been around a lot longer than 3 times as long as some of you. She made me the happiest I have ever been. And regardless of what people think about her or feel about her, understand that she made me happy. She did not control me. She did not own me. And when we were together, it was very much a partnership. It just so happened that I was the more vocal person. So I want you guys to understand that, because some people made assumptions or conclusions without you guys. It just wasn't fair for you because you didn't have that information around you. She was one of the most supportive people I've ever had in my life. And so all the things, I appreciate people being honest with me. I wish you guys had been honest with me from the beginning so that I could have better navigated all of those pitfalls. But understand that this woman People ask me, well, God, you only knew her for so long, or, there are plenty of fish in the sea, and, I all the standard stuff that people say after a breakup too. But yeah. So I'll leave that at that. Just I was very unfair to her and people jumped on that bandwagon and I can't undo that. So that's the story. Kind of a heavy final stream, right? I know. And I'm watching the ticker tape right now. Don't pay attention to any of that shit because it's all wrong. I just didn't have the energy to go and change that. Thank you, Kittle. I'll do that right now. So, to summarize, this is all my decision for me. There are events or people along the way that helped to open my eyes to things. That just added one more reason for me to do this. That's it. And you guys have heard 4 or 5 of the reasons that brought me here. And there are a few others. I just am not getting into them right now. I'm not getting into them publicly. All right. Thank you very much, Kittle. Look, that's what I always wanted my emote wall to do. I always wanted the emote wall to do that. That's awesome. It's finally doing it. So when I return to streaming, I don't know if it'll be on this stream, if I just burn this down and start anew. I don't know what that looks like right now. I don't. But yeah. Thanks, Rose. Thank you so much. I can't even. Thank you so much. I've met some incredible people on this journey. Oh, yeah, I have to add this. I just remembered this. So I was talking about how I'm not me anymore when I turn on the microphone. Well, hopefully right now it's me. This is all me. This is absolutely raw, and I'm just trying to stay contained enough to not talk about things I don't want to talk about over live. But so I went back actually, and I found the first game where I met Nikki. Unfortunately, my audio was fucked up, so I didn't hear the in-game comps. But I was playing Valorant with Gender, and she and I ran into this group and this really cool person, and we brought them into the Discord right away at the end of that first game. And it was Nikki, and then Nikki joined us and we played. And I was listening to that second game and thinking about it, noticing how different I was for that game versus what I've been for the last couple of weeks. And then I started comparing the games when I'm streaming versus the games when I'm not. And that's what did it. How absolutely different of a person I am. How quickly I was to get angry or tilted when I was streaming. So anyway. So before I do the last snooze on the ad, because once the ads come up, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop this soap opera. I've been saying I want this to be. I want you guys to feel comfortable that it's a discussion. I want you guys to talk. I want you guys to say something. So as we come to the last few minutes of this stream, of this channel, you guys have anything you want to say? Duck, I mean, I'll keep updates in the server. Absolutely. The other thing I want to encourage you guys to do is, because of me taking a step back, it's natural that the activity inside of the server is going to dissipate. Rose and Mad Dog are going to be incredible new homes. So usually it might feel like, oh, well, they're just stealing people now. They're taking it. That's not it. Please feel free and welcome to pursue those servers. Monster is a great guy. That's another server, but please look at Rose and Mad Dog servers and their communities. Those are nice, new, growing communities as well. So there, Rose. Ha. Now you can't feel bad. and I will tell you this, they will have updates about me as well. I think part of the other thing that kind of woke me up to a lot of this is that I had two nightmares, actually. The one this morning that I had, actually don't want to talk about on stream, because it involves Nikki. But the other one, I had it maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And this rocked me because I've had this feeling before. So let me rewind first. Somewhere back in 2020, I had I thought I was having a heart attack, and I went to the urgent care, and they're like, no, it's not a heart attack. We think it's anxiety, and they sent me home with some meds, and I'm home, and I'm still wound up, and I'm still not in a good spot. And my ex, and this is at the time when we were doing polyamory, so the girlfriend at the time. Actually, no, it was not. It was not. We had talked about it. We agreed, but we hadn't started. But they were both. The both of them were like, well, we need to do something, because I was out of my mind with anxiety. I was just wound up. I didn't know what was going on. They called my sister, who's a nurse, and my sister said, go get this, give it to him, don't let him know what it is. And so they gave me some medicine, and I thought it was, I'm not paying attention because I'm so wound up. And so they gave me some medicine, and I started feeling tired. So I went upstairs, and I laid down. Everyone's doing their bedtime routine, and everyone lays down. And I was laying there losing control and feeling slowly throughout my body as I'm laying there. And I remember thinking that night, this is it. I'm dying. And I'm dying, and I don't even get to say I love you to any of the people in my life. There's my wife there. I can't even reach over and say I love her. There's the girl there. I can't even tell her, the girl down the hall, I can't even tell her I love her. There are the kids. I can't even tell them I'm just laying here helpless. I can't say a word. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. And I could feel more and more loss of control over my body taking me. So what it turned out is they overloaded me on Benadryl. And so my body was literally just shutting it down for the night. I didn't know that because I didn't know they gave that to me. I thought that I was dying right there that night. And I remember thinking, I thought heart attacks were painful or whatever this is. And I was so terrified. So the next morning, I woke up and I gave a big kiss to the wife. And I went downstairs and I gave the biggest kiss to the girl. And that's when we started, by the way. That was what started us. So anyway, fast forward now to 2 weeks ago. And I fall asleep on the couch. I wake up from a nightmare. But the nightmare was that I woke up from a nap, but I was on the floor face down having a stroke. And I couldn't do anything about it. Because I've got nobody's close to me. Nobody's checking in on me. Nobody's there. Oh no, it was last week. It was last week that I had this nightmare. Because I don't have Nikki calling me every day. I have nobody calling me. It was the only way they're going to find my body was because it was time for my son to be dropped off. And the fact that I wasn't opening the garage door was going to be a problem. Days later. That nightmare is the other thing that set all of this in motion, guys. So I got here in a lot of different ways. There's a lot more reasons, but all I'm going to say is that I appreciate you guys, but this is time for me now. It's time. And if you see me around, like in Discord, or if you see me in a game, then reach out. But I have to shut the stream down at least for, I don't know how long, weeks, months, years, I don't know. And how I come back, if it's a different stream, if it's on this stream, I don't know. I don't know. But the bottom line is I got to get all of these priorities. I got to get all of this stuff straight. And because there will be a relationship somewhere in the future. And when it happens, everything's got to be straight so that the stream doesn't interfere, so Discord doesn't interfere, so that nothing interferes with that relationship, but nobody else feels abandoned. And I don't change myself on stream. And I need to be able to better support my kid. And I need the love of being in front of the microphone to be back. And so my final words as we go out is I love this journey. 2022 sucked, but it had its huge moments. And you guys keep in touch. Keep in touch if you can. I love you.